Hello, I'm Sean Skinner. Welcome to the second edition of this video series or DVD entitled Stick Handling Beyond Belief. This video series was created to present a comprehensive and exhaustive research on the stick handling skills and techniques. The research comes from the current body of videos, books, and instructors from all over the world. I have scientifically laid out a detailed progression of the individual skills and steps to stick handling. This video will provide the coach or player, whether professional or beginner, with a what to do and how to do it progression to attain the ultimate or professional level of stick handling skill. You can see the bibliography at the end of this video or DVD to see the depth of research over 10 years that has gone into the making of this series. The first edition of Stick Handling Beyond Belief was made in 1998. Since that time, new developments in the hockey stick have been made. I have gathered more stick handling tools and techniques. I have added over 250 shots to the series, and I have taken out the stick handling for roller hockey and made it a standalone tape or DVD. This video series has been organized into 5 parts. The first video, Stick Handling Theory and Preparation. The second, Stick Handling Agility Techniques. The third, the moves, fakes or deeks. The fourth video is entitled Stick Handling Drills for Coaches. And the fifth, Dryland Training for Stick Handling. In this first video on stick handling entitled Theory and Preparation, we're going to take a look at what makes the best hockey players, what is stick handling, why perfect practice is so important, writing a permanent motor program, some skating techniques needed for stick handling, the hockey stick, and stick handling areas and spaces. What makes the best hockey players? Skating or stick handling? Many have said skating, and while it is true skating is a foundational skill, stick handling is what truly separates the good from the best hockey players. Just think about it. At an elite level of ice hockey, AAA, Junior A, college, or professional, all players at these levels can skate extremely well. That's why they're there. But the best players at the elite level are the stick handlers. When was the last time you saw a highlight of a hockey player just skating? The greatest highlights are the awesome and unbelievable moves that lead to goals. Just look at the professional teams. Here's a list of players that you'll be familiar with. Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Mark Messier, Steve Yzerman, Pat LaFontaine, Eric Lindros, Mike Modano, Jaromir Jagr, Peter Forsberg, and of course Pavel Bure. All of these players are or were at the top of the NHL because of their stick handling skills. What is stick handling? Stick handling is easily understood when compared to basketball and the Harlem Globetrotters. In basketball, they work a combination of skills from a dribble in order to fake out an opponent. For a hockey player, stick handling is also a series of skills done from a dribble, but with a puck. Specifically though, stick handling is an agility skill. Now these agility skills combine into moves and fakes. Stick handling has been referred to as puck handling or puck control, but they do not mean the same thing. Stick handling is much more specific. Puck handling and puck control include any time a player is touching a puck, like passing, receiving, shooting, and face-offs, while stick handling refers to all of the agility skills and fakes. As you can see from the chart, the term stick handling is divided into 2 groups based on a progression of skills. The first is stick handling agility techniques. And the second is called the moves, sometimes referred to as fakes or deeks. Use these charts for a reference to better understand the progression of stick handling techniques and moves. In general, agility skills can start to be taught as early as 2 years old. We're not talking about strength training or weightlifting. We're talking about movement patterns. The individual is learning to write a motor control program to execute a body movement, like walking. At first, a child needs to think about every step until enough practice makes the skill automatic. This leads us to our next point. Perfect practice makes perfect. It's very important to understand the motor learning process of how we acquire fine skilled movements before we start stick handling. This knowledge will enhance how you learn and teach, and it will explain why perfect practice is so important. You've all heard the slogan, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. It's not true. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice a skill for 8 hours, but if practiced wrong, then it'll be performed wrong. Whereas with just 2 hours of perfect practice, and more than likely you'll do the move right in the game. Here's why. Motor skill learning is an internal process of the central nervous system, leading to a permanent movement pattern. It takes repetitive practice of executing a skill at least 500 times to write a permanent motor program in your mind. And once that program is written, it is incredibly hard to change. Thus, if you learn a stick handling skill wrong, you can develop a wrong permanent movement pattern. You must pay strict attention to the detail of the technique, not the speed. If you get the proper technique, the speed will come later. Writing a permanent motor program. There are 3 phases of this learning process to write a permanent motor program: the cognitive, combination, and automatic. You are doing the cognitive right now. The cognitive or thinking phase is when you are watching or listening, in our case, by video demonstration, how to do the technique. While watching, in your mind you picture the technique along with verbal cues to write an initial motor program. The program at first is very crude and allows a player to just attempt the skill, hopefully moving in the right direction, but probably looking awkward. This is when attention to the detail of movement is important, and a trained professional needs to guide the correct pattern of movement to start writing a perfect program. The second, or combination phase, is much longer and can range from a few hours to several years, depending on the complexity of the skill. This is when the player begins to combine the correct movement patterns through repetitive practice. The player practices the skill to the point that it is performed accurately and consistently. This is when drill progression and feedback from the instructor about your technique are of the essence. Correction by videotape lets the player visually see how they look compared to the correct model. As the player continues to practice, less time is spent thinking about the technique. Thus, they feel the movements and can start to think about other things, like an oncoming player. During this phase, we eliminate extra movements and errors. As technique and form improve, then the speed, accuracy, coordination, and consistency improve. Athletes improve their performance during this phase to the point of mastery, which leads us to the third phase, or the automatic phase. The automatic, or professional phase of learning comes when the player can perform the skill over and over with perfection at or near maximum speeds without thinking about the technique. The term automatic implies that the movement has very little conscious thought about the skill being done. In fact, if a highly skilled player thinks about the movements, it'll seriously disrupt performance. The automatic phase gives free time to think and to scan the ice, planning the best strategy. Now the player can consider the movements of other players and sticks around them, allowing their own movements to come from the motor control program already written, without thinking about the mechanics of the stick handling technique. Now that you're more familiar with the process of motor learning, you can begin to use this tape to visualize the proper techniques. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of skating techniques that are needed in order to stick handle. The first movement is called a shuffle stride, and the shuffle stride is sometimes referred to as scooting or side pumps. Just about every move in stick handling is done from this skating position. When I teach shuffle strides, I like to tell the player first to just wiggle as they're going down the ice. Wiggle with their feet side to side. What they're actually doing is making C-cuts. We do this by pointing the toe out to the side and coming around in a half circle. As we make this motion, pointing the toe out to the side and coming around in a half circle, it leaves the impression of a C on the ice. That's where it gets its name from. While making this movement, the weight is on the heel of the skate. As I come out and around, the weight is on the heel of the skate. There's two ways to do these C-cuts. The first way is to do the C-cuts strong and deliberate, or to make deep cuts into the ice. And it looks like this. The second way to do the shuffle stride is real quick. It'll be as if you're lifting the toe of the skate off the ice every time you make a cut. And that looks like this. The second skating technique needed for stick handling involves holding an inside edge for a half circle on one skate, and would look something like this. You start by picking your skate up and placing it behind the heel of the other skate. Do not cross over. Pretend that you have a puck on your stick and reach out to the side as far as you can, making a big sweeping half circle side to side. The second way to execute this technique is to reach out wide at an angle. Try reaching out wide side to side at an angle, stretching your leg out behind your body and bending your front knee, reaching out side to side. The third way to execute this technique is to practice by making small half circles as quick as you can side to side. It's as if you're hopping side to side. Now let's consider a few things about the hockey stick. First, should you play right or left-handed? Many misunderstand and just don't know how this is determined. Players usually walk into the store and ask for a stick. The attendant asks what hand the player is, which is usually right, and they hand them a right-handed stick. But the hand you play is actually determined by two things: your dominant hand and what feels best. When holding a hockey stick, players often let go with the bottom hand, leaving the stick in the top hand. And the top hand needs to be the strongest, the most coordinated hand. Usually your dominant hand is the right, which means you hold the top of the stick in your right hand. This makes you a left-handed hockey player. This does not mean that every right-handed individual should play hockey left-handed. You must also take into consideration what feels best for you. Just keep in mind that the top hand controls most of the stick handling and the slap shot, while the bottom hand is involved with toe control, turning of the stick over, and the wrist shot. I'd like to make further comment here on this dominant hand should be on top. It's interesting to note that when the Russians started hockey in the late 40s and early 50s, that the entire team played hockey left-handed
because they were all right-handed individuals, being the dominant hand on top. It's also noted that there are more left-handed players in Canada, left-handed hockey players, right-handed individuals, and in the United States there's a lot of players who are playing right-handed as a right-handed player because we have stigmatism to softball, being a lefty, but as a general rule, 90% of the time the dominant hand should be on top, and if you're right-handed, then you should hold the stick left-handed. It's not always that time, it's a 90% rule. Some of the tests that they do on players to determine their hand is, first we have players shoot with the stick in the left hand and the right hand after we've educated them just that, you know, about the Canadians, about the Russians, that being left-handed is not a weak thing. And we see how they shoot, and they feel how they feel with the stick. And then also we can take some tests here as to sweeping with a broom. We'll ask a player to grab a broom, and we'll see how they hold the broom and how they sweep. And generally, if this is the way you sweep, that's the way you'll hold the hockey stick. For me, again, I'm right-handed, and I'm holding it as a left-hander. And then also shoveling. If they were to shovel dirt or snow, how do you pick up the shovel and scoop and shovel? The players will tend to do that the same hand that they should play in ice hockey.
What type of stick should you use? There are all types of sticks. Junior sticks, senior sticks, aluminum sticks, graphite, or wooden sticks. The key when choosing a stick is to have a stick that is light as possible. It must be light enough to control the puck with one hand. Aluminum sticks are the lightest and preferred by younger players because it's easier to handle the puck. Aluminum sticks have some things that need to be considered though. First, they have less flex than the wooden and graphite sticks. Also, you do not feel the vibrations up and down the shaft as well, reducing the feel for the puck. And players spend a lot of time replacing the blades. Often they come to the rink needing additional equipment to heat the blade. I tell players if they spend as much time working on their stick handling as they do changing their blades, they might get somewhere someday. Aluminum sticks also cost a lot more than the wooden sticks. Younger players may need a junior stick. The junior sticks have narrower shafts and are lighter, which help them also handle the puck better. Senior sticks are not just for older players. Some older players have small hands and they prefer a junior stick, although it's rare. Graphite and Kevlar graphite sticks are also lighter than the wooden sticks. The advantage of the graphite over the aluminum is that graphite sticks tend to have more flex. Again, though, graphite sticks are more expensive than wooden sticks. The wooden sticks come in either laminate or fiberglass laminate. The wooden sticks are generally heavier, but allow for the best feel of the puck on the blade, and they have the greatest amount of flexibility. The nice thing about wooden sticks is that they're cheaper and require no extra maintenance.
A lot has changed in the stick market since we first made this video series, Stick Handling Beyond Belief. That was 5 years ago in 1998. And since that time, all kinds of new sticks have come out in the market. We're talking about the differences in sticks because of the feel for stick handling. Players have often said they like the feel of the wooden stick. It feels the best. It gives the truest feel of the vibrations. What they did is they used to make sticks as a solid piece of wood, and then they went to wood laminate sticks or wood composite sticks. I can show you one here. This is a Easton wood composite stick. It's a laminate, which means many layers of wood have been put together. It still gives you the feel of wood. It gives you a little more flex than a solid piece of wood. And then CCM developed this groove light stick. And this is also a wood composite stick. And this stick has a special feature. This was the lightest wood stick ever made. And this one actually has a hollow core. You can see, looking down the middle of the stick, that there's holes in there. And they did this by pressing pieces of wood together and creating the lightest wooden stick, giving the most flex. And then they went to aluminum sticks, which didn't give us a very good feel at all, and they went to graphite and graphite composite sticks. Now, CCM made this catapult, which has a special flex zone for shooting, and is also a very light stick, which gives you better feel than the aluminum sticks, and was an excellent stick as far as the graphite and graphite composites, the graphite Kevlar sticks. And then we've had some advances where TPS came out with the rubber stick. This is also another graphite composite, and this rubber stick was supposed to give players more control. But we already know from the other shots on this video, and you'll see from the next videos that you watch, that the bottom hand is supposed to slide when stick handling in order to make a pull-in move, in order to pull the puck from behind, in order to reach wide. The bottom hand slides on the stick. And so these sticks, like the rubber and other sticks that are sticky, or if a player tries to put tape on the bottom of the stick, these are things that we want to stay away from, because it prohibits the bottom hand from sliding. We want more control on the top hand, but not the sticky stuff on the bottom hand. Then there has been a rise in what they call the one-piece sticks. Now, Louisville came out with this TPS stick, and this is sold as a one-piece stick, but it's actually a two-piece stick, and they've inserted a blade in there. So it's not a true one-piece stick, but and also the Easton came out with the Synergy, and these shots, these graphite composite, supposed to be one-piece sticks, are increasing the player's ability to shoot faster, because they can handle more flex without breaking. They really are fantastic. If a player has good shot mechanics, they can shoot faster just by switching to these type of sticks. Now again, this is supposed to be a true one-piece, but it's not. It's a two-piece stick, and it's just painted over. The only true one-piece sticks are the M1 by Mission and the CCM Vector, which is shown on the test results to give each player the maximum velocity by the computer-generated shooting machine. And this is a true one-piece stick here by CCM. These sticks are fantastic. This CCM stick is I believe it is the lightest stick on the market at this time. Probably not by next month. But this CCM stick has a special core inside, and since it's a true one-piece, it gives you the closest feel to having a solid wood stick. So it's really a fantastic stick, and as technology goes on with these one-piece sticks, we're getting better feel and more flexibility. It's something to consider, but it doesn't make you a better shooter or a better stick handler. You still need to develop the skill first, and then it can enhance your stick handling or your shooting.
What type of stick blade? In choosing a stick blade, you want one that is narrow as possible, like this one here to my right, and it will stay that way. The other types of stick are wider at the bottom, and these type of sticks absorb water and become fat, and after a long time in use could end up looking something like this. I recommend that you go with a stick blade that has a plastic insert in the bottom, as it will stay narrow and stay strong even over long periods of use. What type of toe should you have on the stick of your blade? You have two choices, a square toe versus a rounded toe. For a player that wants more control of the puck, especially with the toe of the blade, I recommend a rounded toe. Here's how it works. With a rounded toe, more of the stick blade remains in contact with the ice and the puck. thus giving you more control on the pull-in move. How much curve should you use on your stick? The general rule is the less curve, the better. There are two types of curves, the heel curve and the toe curve. The heel curve is for a player that likes to shoot and shoot high with ease. The toe curve offers more control when handling the puck, but makes it harder to shoot high. Most stick handlers prefer a toe curve. A little curve always improves speed and precision of the wrist and backhand shots. A little curve also helps in the execution of the flip pass and gives greater toe control. A large curve hurts or limits the player's ability to stick handle, pass, receive, and shoot, especially on the backhand side. Look at the difference between the toe and the heel curve. With the toe curve, you have more available space to make a mistake while dribbling or when receiving a pass, especially on your backhand side.
Okay, here we're taking a closer look at two curve patterns. On the right is a coffee. Now that's the largest banana hook curve that we can buy at the store. And to our left is a Slapshot Sports Store pattern, and that is more of a heel curve with the toe fanned out. And I also want to point out to you the difference in the blade length. Slapshot curve pattern here is the longest legal length you can have. I'd like to spend a little more time here discussing the heel curve and how it's a lot like a 9-iron. The game of hockey has changed nowadays for the NHL, the college, and the junior games. The game is full of a lot of loft. And so they like a heel curve where the toe of the blade fans out, giving an open stick face so they can flip the puck out of the zone, high and hard off the glass, or even into the zone over the opponent's head. And a lot of players don't have to work hard when shooting to shoot for the upper corner with this type of stick. It does, though, tend to limit the use of the backhand and limit the ability to make backhand flip shots, but some players are able to learn to compensate for this.
What about the stick lie? The stick lie is another thing that needs to be considered and used to be very important in the past when purchasing a stick. But stick manufacturers have reduced the availability and are not consistent in their numbering system. Also, stick companies have quit putting lie numbers on the stick and replaced them with the names of NHL stars for their particular pattern. The stick lie refers to the angle of the blade as it is attached to the stick. Stick lie usually comes in two numbers, a 5 or a 6. A 5 is used for a player that bends down real low when skating, referred to as the European skating style. A 6 lie is used for a player that skates more upright and is referred to as the North American skating style. How do you know if you have the right lie? Your stick blade should lie flat on the ice when you are dribbling.
Now we're further going to address how you choose your stick. The most important thing that should be considered when choosing the stick is lie. And blade manufacturers are not making sticks in lies. They're putting players' names on the bottom so that they can sell them. This is leading to players having poor puck handling skills and weaker shots. But the most important thing is lie. The next thing we consider after the lie is pattern, blade pattern, or your curve, whether it's heel curve or toe curve or a combination. And then the last thing would be the shaft, and which type of composite shaft, which would lead to which stiffness or flexibility, and that's how much force you can put into the stick. Let's focus our emphasis here on the lie, because that's the most important thing. So we're looking at the lie of the stick, and the lie determines how your blade lays on the ice. An improper lie is where the heel is on the ice and the toe is way up in the air. This causes players to lose the puck when puck controlling and misfiring when shooting. Sometimes players will have a lie that's too high, where the toe is on the ice and the heel is off the ice. Players can change their lie up to half a lie by changing the height of their stick. You can see here myself, if I grab down further on my stick and I cut off 8 inches, of course my stick would then be too small for me to play, but then I could change the lie where I've got the toe on the ground. If I get a longer stick out here and add a couple of inches, now I've got the heel off the ice too much. We want the lie to be on the stick so that the stick is flat on the ice, and the wear of the blade on the tape should be right in here in the middle. If players turn their stick over and we see wear only on the heel or wear up here on the toe, we know they have the wrong lie. We should see a lie wear right here in the middle of the stick. Since the lie is so important on the stick, and we can't change it enough by just the height, it's important to find the stick that's the right lie for you, the right blade pattern. There's a new company on the market called Black Beauty that produces sticks in your own curve pattern and in your own lie. And they've developed a lie detector to find out what lie you should have, what's the right lie for you. You can get a hold of Black Beauty by calling 248-584-1423. Black Beauty Sticks.
In Europe, they do something called stick shaping. This means that they will mark off a portion on the heel of the blade to be filed or cut off, so that the stick will lie flat on the ice no matter what the original lie was. Now let's take a look at the height of your stick. There are many opinions about the height of the stick. Coaches have made blanket statements telling all players to cut their stick at a certain height. But the stick height should be determined individually by the type of player that you are. Let me explain. First, your stick height should be measured with your skates on. The acceptable range for your stick is from the bottom of your chest, as some NHL players do, to your nose. Most coaches will be even more specific and say from your collarbone to your chin. You are more likely to have the right stick height if you're in this range. Now, defensemen and shooters tend to have longer sticks, maybe from their nose to their chin, for poke checking and for faster shots. Forwards and stick handlers prefer to have shorter sticks, maybe from the collarbone down to their chest, because it's easier to control the puck, especially in close to the body and around your feet. Any player that does a lot of corner work may also want a shorter stick. Another rule is that the stick must be short enough to bring your top hand underneath. One way to tell if your stick is too tall is if the elbow of the top hand is up in the air awkwardly. In summary, you know you'll be safe and you'll have the right stick height if your stick is somewhere between your collarbone and your chin. I personally would not go above the chin.
There's been much controversy over the stick height. And although I just gave you ranges from the bottom of the chest to the nose, further range which is more acceptable being from the chin to the bottom of the collarbone, the bottom of the neck. Still, different stick handling coaches and different countries have endorsed different stick heights and different lengths. You'll find in Sweden, and with Swedish stick handling coaches, they will encourage players to have longer sticks. They like to say that they want players, especially younger players, to start off with longer sticks so that the puck will be further out in front of them and it will be easier for them to see. You'll see other stick handling coaches say, well, players should have shorter sticks so that they can control the puck in tight and around their body and easily in tight spaces.
Taping the stick. When taping the stick, we need to ask ourselves, why are we taping it? And how does it affect our play? We are taping the stick to improve the grip on the stick, to improve the control of the puck, and to protect the stick. With those three considerations in mind, let's examine some common practices and fads. First, no tape on the stick is always wrong. Just think about it scientifically. You have a rubber puck, a smooth plastic or wooden stick with ice and water in between. If you do not tape the stick, then the puck slips and slides off the blade easier. Again, we tape the stick so that we gain better control of the puck. The key is in tape versus no tape. The next argument comes about what kind of tape, cloth or friction. Friction tape again gives even more control of the puck, but is heavier on the blade. A new alternative is to use cloth tape and then add sticky stick wax, again giving you more control, but adding the same weight as friction. The advantage is supposed to be that the wax allows the tape to stay on the stick longer. Plain cloth tape is the lightest tape, but wears off the stick the quickest, and does not give the control of friction or stick wax. But it's always better than no tape. Too much tape should always be avoided, as it makes the stick too heavy and it will deaden the vibrations of the puck up and down the shaft. So you will lose the feel for the puck. Never more than one layer of tape. What color tape? It has been said that black tape hides the puck, but I've never seen a good player lose sight of the puck because of black tape. Black tape is also supposed to make it harder for the goalie to see the puck on shots. White tape is supposed to help the player with the puck see the puck better, but then that would also help the goalie see the puck on shots. There's no color that will make a real dramatic difference in your play. It's up to the player. When taping the blade, should you start at the heel or the toe? Again, there is much controversy over the heel-toe issue. It has been said if you tape from the heel to the toe, the puck is moving against the grain, allowing you to put more spin on your passes and wrist shots. Also, when skating with the stick blade on the ice, the wear on the tape is with the grain, but then on the other hand, if you tape from toe to heel, then the puck will roll off of the blade easier when shooting, supposedly giving you a faster shot, and when carrying the puck down the ice, the puck would ride against the grain, giving you more control. Taping either way, with the proper spacing, when overlapping the tape and or using stick wax, would lessen or remove any grain effect. So the real deal here is that it's fun to argue, but it doesn't make a difference. A good hockey player can play with their stick taped either way. When taping the top of the stick or the knob, remember that you want to use the least amount possible to limit the weight, while improving your grip and keeping your top hand from slipping off of the stick. Tape on the top of the stick also will help you when picking up your stick as it falls out of your hand on the ice.
There's been two products that have been developed to help players stick handle and control the stick better. The first one that we're going to look at here is called the power plug. And the power plug is a device that sticks in the top of the stick, and it's got a little bend in it so that it keeps your hand from sliding off the stick. It allows this top hand to fit right around the top of the nozzle and gives the player a good feel and better control of the puck. The second type of plug that's been developed is called the stick handler. And players would grab onto the stick like this and their wrist would be bent at an awkward angle. This one was developed so that they could hold the wrist in a more comfortable, natural position. And not only a more comfortable and natural position, but this one has the ability to turn at an angle. So this is turned for a left-hander and angled.
Where do we hold the hockey stick? Start by holding your stick in your top hand and hold the stick up in the air. Now put the elbow of your other arm on top of your glove and grab onto your stick. This is generally as close as you want your hands. We do this as a stick check. You may want to move your hand down even further. When shooting and passing and digging for a puck in the corner, you want your bottom hand lower. It'll give you more leverage on the puck, making you stronger. If your hands get too close together, then you become weaker as a player. Do note that when stick handling, your hands are closer together than when shooting. One key to remember when holding the stick is that your arms and elbows need to be out and away from your body so you can move the puck. Your arms cannot rest in here by your hips so that you cannot move them side to side.
I'd like to talk a little bit more about how we position our stick and hold it. There's something called hip lock. a lot of players will grab onto their stick and hold it at an angle across their body, having this top hand right here on their hip. And they will try to stick handle, control, move, and pass the puck from this position, meaning the hand is locked on the hip. They'll try to stick handle and dribble from here, when our hands should be able to move freely inside our body. The position that should be assumed by the player is what's called a navel grip. The top hand should be here in the navel, and we should be grabbing on and controlling from here and being able to move in and around on our forehand and our backhand. So there is no hip lock with this top hand.
How do we grip the hockey stick? We use what is commonly called a V grip, which means that the stick rests in the V created between our thumb and our hand.
One more thing that needs to be mentioned about the grip of the stick is in relation to this top hand when we use the toe of the stick blade. Now, yes, we hold the top hand in a V position, but this V position actually changes. When we start to rotate the stick or turn it over to use the toe of the blade, the hand switches to the side and the thumb comes on so that we can turn. So we can turn the stick blade over. We're going like this, and we come from a V position back to a side position, and we turn the stick over so we can cup it. I'd like to talk further about how the top hand grips the stick. There have been some theories out there that what you do is you stick this top of the stick into the palm of your hand, and you grab onto the stick like this, and you control the stick like this. While it is true that you do put the top of the stick in the palm of your hand, some people are misunderstanding this, because you cannot grab onto the stick like this in the top of the hand and then play hockey. You commonly let go with the stick with the bottom hand, and your top hand wouldn't be able to control the puck. You'd get the stick knocked out of your hand. It does fit into the palm of your hand as you grab onto it, and you can see how the top or the plug is either in the hand or it is just slightly outside, and the tape keeps the hand from coming off. And this is why many players will wear a hole in the top of their hand,
while the bottom hand holds the stick loosely in the fingers off to the side. The bottom hand acts as a guide to the top hand and must be able to slide up and down the shaft depending on the skill or technique that we're executing.
In the first edition of this tape, I didn't put enough emphasis on the fact that the bottom hand has to slide. It was there, and we talked about it on particular moves. But I really want to put emphasis on the fact that the bottom hand slides up and down the stick. Any tape or any type of stick that restricts this bottom hand from sliding limits the player's ability to control the puck around their body, especially when reaching. If we're talking about reaching wide and we slide that bottom hand down, if we talk about the pull-in move, we're pulling the puck in, the bottom hand slides down. If we're pulling the puck from behind, the bottom hand slides. If we're feathering or sliding the puck under the stick, we slide the hand and pick it up on the other side. Since this bottom hand slide has been so important in hockey, players and coaches have used all kinds of tools in the past to develop this bottom hand slide. So what they've done in the past is take a piece of PVC tubing, slide it over the top of the stick, and then grab on. If the player could squeeze the tube as hard as he wanted, but the bottom hand would slide. Even past reception, if someone passes the puck, then the bottom hand will slide. So they develop what's called soft hands when given the puck back. So problem with using the PVC tubing is that sometimes the knobs on the end were so big that in order to get them over, you had to go to such a large PVC tube. And in some places where they didn't have enough money or spend it, they would just take a paper roll and practice with a paper roll attached. That way the players would get the same effect and the paper roll could be discarded at the end. A company out of Canada has developed this tool called the soft hands, which enables the player now to slide this tube on from the bottom here. it has a slice down the middle, and we stick the stick blade in and slide it up so that now the bottom hand can hold on and it can slide. It's a very inexpensive little item. That piece can be slidden right back off. It's called the soft hands, one of the stick handling training tools.
What is the right flexibility or stiffness? The flexibility should be proportional to the weight and strength of the player. The stronger the player, the stiffer the stick. Younger players require a more flexible stick because of the lack of strength and force that they can apply. The greater amount of flex that a player can put into a stick without breaking the stick will increase the speed of the shot. Also, the stiffer the stick, the more control on handling the puck. One more thing is needed before we start teaching agility techniques and moves, and that is that we need to define some stick handling spaces. There are 6 spaces that occur around our body, 3 strong spaces and 3 weak spaces. We start in between our legs, directly in front of the body. This is in front. Moves and agility techniques occur here in front of the body. Then for a left-hander, moving to my forehand side, this is forehand in front and forehand behind the body. Those are the 3 strong sides for a left-hander. For a left-hander, the 3 weak sides are backhand in front, backhand behind, and behind the body. Stick handling moves occur in all 6 of these areas and spaces. For a right-hander, it's just the opposite.
I'd like to talk to you about stick handling tools or stick handling aids that we can use out here on the ice as you go through some of the drills on this tape. The first thing that I'd like to point out to you is what they call short stick. Here I have a stick blade that has been cut in half or cut off and rounded into a toe and taped up as a short stick. Players are encouraged to try the stick handling drills with this short stick, to play little mini scrimmages, and it forces them to have much better control of the puck with a shorter stick. From not only this short stick, but in Finland they use this is a real rubber puck, but it's only half the size of a real puck, shorter and less in diameter. And so you could not only use a short stick, but you could also use this small puck in order to stick handle with. You can see the size of this puck and this size of this puck compared to a regular puck. And then in Finland, they also use pucks with holes cut out of them. Now this is used especially for younger players. You see how I set this on the ice? Younger players haven't learned the ability to dribble and control a puck without looking at it. So what they'll do is they'll play crossed-ice games and scrimmages with this puck with a hole in it. And the young players will be able to stick their stick into the puck, and the head will come up. They'll be able to scan the ice, look around, make the right pass. The next kid will put his head down, put the stick in, and then his head will come up. And it's a way of teaching the players to play the game with their head up when they still don't quite have the skill and the fine skills of controlling the puck. So that's a puck from Finland with the hole cut out. They have ways of practicing called high-speed training, where you go from a heavy puck to a lighter puck. Now, in Sweden and Finland, they don't have a lot of money for these pucks, so this is a puck with the holes drilled out. And then USA Hockey has developed this new blue puck, which is a lighter puck. So what players could do is they could go through these exercises with a light puck. They could be switching back and forth from a heavy puck to a light puck. What we have here is an orange-coated lead puck. This weighs 10 ounces, which is more than a puck usually weighs 3 to 5. There's also a product out called a What-A-Puck, but that's used for dryland training. And then The problem with this orange puck is that if you're going through some of these drills and shooting on a goalie at the end, you cannot shoot at the goalie. So instead, they've developed these stick weights. This is called an iron arm. This is a stick weight that wraps around the stick and velcros on, so that now you can have weight on your stick. You can do all the drills and still come in and shoot on the goalie with a regular puck, and you get resistance through all your passing, shooting, and stick handling exercises. And lastly, they've developed what's called the big puck. And here's a 3-pound puck that we can use for passing and stick handling strength. I want to show you one exercise in particular that's good with this puck. Many people that have seen this big puck don't see the value in it or don't know how to use it. Obviously, it can be used for all passing drills that you did before, stationary passing, moving down the ice passing. It's excellent because it has these plugs that are on top of it for dry land training, and when you use it on the ice, the plugs spin so you can see the puck spinning like you should when you pass the puck. You can stick handle with it in figure eights and move it wide laterally, and since it weighs 3 pounds, you're getting resistance. But there's an excellent exercise that we can do on and off the ice where we're passing to ourselves off the wall, and we're getting some core training and twisting of the upper body. I want to show this to you here, where you stand off the wall 15 to 20 feet away, you're passing it into the wall at an angle, and it bounces off the wall to the backhand side, and then again, you're twisting and spinning that wall back. Forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. One of the many exercises that can be done with the big puck. Now we're going to take a look at some devices that are used when attacking the triangle. The phrase attacking the triangle refers to an opponent and his skates and stick. So the triangle is formed from the player's stick to their skates. This device that I'm standing over is called the attack triangle. It's an excellent device to lay out on the ice instead of a cone for players to come down the ice and make fakes on it. This device here is called the Stick Handle Pro. In our last video, we featured the Quick Stick. Like the Quick Stick, this Stick Handle Pro swings side to side as it has its stick zone. So now we can practice going in, sliding the puck under, pulling it around, and trying not to get the puck poked away as we attack the triangle. Same thing with the attack triangle. We can practice under the stick, pull in, slide the puck, slip through, all around. And this other is just a wooden stick handling triangle on a base, so that again we can slide the puck under, through, back, backhand, and pulling. 3 devices or aids that we can use, and we will use throughout this video to practice our stick handling and attacking the triangle. Here I'd like to show one more way that we can work on the attack triangle, the pull-in move, the under-the-stick fake. This is probably the cheapest way we can do it. By using a tall cone and taping a stick to the top, we can create another form of attack triangle where we're trying to slide the stick under, the puck under, and also the pull-in move. So from here, simply an inexpensive way to practice the under-the-stick fake and the pull-and move by just using a cone with a stick taped to it. Another way to work on attacking the triangle is to use a form of wooden triangle. Here we've made a a wooden attack triangle that represents the stick sticking out, and again we can slide the puck underneath and make a pull and move around. So we're sliding the puck into the stick zone and feathering. Another training aid that we have here is what's called the stick handling rack. And this is just simply hockey sticks or 2x2s that are elevated off the ice that a player can stick handle in front of and slide the puck underneath the wooden arms. So we're standing in front of it here, and we can practice dribbling, sliding the puck, dribbling, sliding the puck. We could slide the puck all the way through. We could slide the puck outside or slide the puck all the way wide, underneath, dribble in these quadrants, move the puck fast. Another device that we can use to develop stick handling . And another stick handling tool can be just elevated wooden bars out here on the ice. We could pass through them to somebody, underneath them. We could stick handle around them, lay them all over the ice at different areas. So just sliding the puck underneath, moving around them. Another training tool that we can use is what's called dribble glasses. These are borrowed from basketball, and they help us learn to practice dribbling the puck without looking down or seeing it. Now on this video series, you'll learn about how we are supposed to look out, not look down. And we use our peripheral vision to see out of the corner of our eye and see the puck. We're dependent on the feel and our peripheral vision. These dribble glasses block our peripheral vision, so I cannot see the puck. And now I'm dependent on the feel. I can use these glasses so I can practice. I can't even see my hand out here in front because it's blocked with the peripheral vision. So I can't see the puck, and I'm dependent on the feel of where the puck is on my stick without actually looking down.
It has been said that it takes 10,000 repetitions or times of executions before you know a skill, and 100,000 repetitions before you're an expert at it. Some say that it requires 8 to 15 years and over 1 million repetitions to produce a professional. With this in mind, let's get started stick handling.